In this video, I'm going to talk about the all-important camp mug. On my Greenland expedition, I had to have something to hold my hot drinks, both in the morning and the evening. In the evening, I would drink hot chocolate with this, and in the morning, I would have my emergency and generally water. So hang on, let me tell you a story at the end of the video of why I chose this mug over what Dr. Terry Williams chose and the consequence of both of them. So this mug is not just a drinking mug for me when I go winter camping and camping in general, because it's a multi-purpose mug. Unfortunately, Stanley doesn't make these anymore. I love this Stanley mug because it effectively ends up being a dual insulated mug, so I can put really hot fluids in here, seal this bad boy up, and it never burns my hands. Now sometimes plastic gets hot and sometimes not. Another aspect that I really like about this is the flip lid, where it completely protects and prevents from some spills. I have knocked this mug over, grabbed it, and as long as I had this closed, I was actually pretty good. Now, this is also my light duty food thermos or food container, as well as my breakfast container. So this isn't just one thing, this is multiple things to me, because this is what I put my cereal in. And as you can see, the handle is long since broken. I broke it in, I broke it on Denali on one of my expeditions. The plastic just cracked. Now, inside you may be able to see the line. This handle is going to fail. Hopefully not anytime soon, but it's going to fail. Maybe that's why they canceled it. And I've also put it together with a little bit of Gorilla Tape because the inside is cracked as well. So one of the things I'm going to tell you is that the mug isn't just the mug. What we use this for on our Greenland expedition is this inner liner mug, or the outer liner mug, is that sharper lip. It's not sharp at all. But what we do is when we had a super frosty morning and we didn't want to deal with the frost, I was actually use this mug and I would scrape the frost off my tent. I do this a lot in Denali because we're not in a terrible rush climbing there. In Greenland, oh, it is never ending of get up, eat, pack, go. But the mug also served as a frost container, so we could literally, from the sleeping bag, scrape the frost, block our face, completely do that. And the big benefit is that it prevented us from getting frosting, getting wet, or frosted, getting wet on our back. So that was a huge thing. Now, what I was going to tell you about is Terry, in our expedition, he chose to bring a wide base metal mug with a screw top cap that had a flip that he could drink out of, just like this guy. The problem is it was metal, and over time when it got to minus 20 and minus 30 degrees, he was holding it with his hands, and he has Raynaud's syndrome, where you have a lot of trouble with cold hands, and he was holding that bad boy, and even with his thick gloves on, it was sucking the heat out of his hand and just making him miserable. So what I did is I took my 1 inch wide, this is 2 inch, but I took my 1 inch wide Gorilla Tape and then tore off some strips, wrapped it around the handle, and it made all the difference in his experience. And that way he wasn't miserable. I didn't find this out until, I don't know, maybe 15 days into the expedition. He was just suffering, and we got it fixed because we just, all those little details of not handling metal, even with gloves, is a big deal. His mug is invincible, but it's heavier and it sucks the heat out of his hand. My mug is not invincible, it's much lighter, a little more versatile, and it'll never suck the heat out of my hand, because even though it's plastic, and which can suck the heat out of my hand, it's nothing like metal. So when you're going on a camping expedition, whether it's winter, summer, long distance, or short distance, and you're choosing your mug, think, hey, if this spills over, like my cup of tea here, and this spills over in the tent, what am I going to do? And I talk about this in my book, The Motivated Amateur's Guide to Winter Camping. Sorry, I can't remember all these things. You've got the mug. What happens when it spills? What happens when it's minus 40? What happens? Can you hold this thing with gloves? Is it awkward to hold? All these considerations you have to think about of just a mug. When you're home, it's no big deal. When you're camping, a mug is a big deal. So consider that. Links below to everything that I've talked about in this video. Thank you very much for watching. This is part of my Greenland series.